Rob's calling me a lunatic. He's calling everyone lunatics. We're all lunatics.
Lunatics.
Send him to bed without dessert. So what's up?
Come on.
He's Rob Hunter. I'm Mike Russell.
Dessert night.
What's that?
It's dessert night.
It's dessert night.
I don't even know.
Do you have a dessert night?
No, I probably should have a dessert night, though.
What's dessert night?
3 nights a week I could eat dessert.
Really? Okay, so you're being serious? You literally no?
No, I don't. I should.
Okay.
But
man, my whole tribe's been into drumsticks lately. I don't know why. They're like addicted to this stuff.
Like the ice cream drumsticks?
Yeah, the drumsticks.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah. Okay. Not to me. I don't need the stuff.
I know you
whatever, yeah.
That is a testament to you. How long ago has it been since you gave up sugar? When was it we went to? We had that fateful day at
Panda Express.
Must have been 2013 or 2014, early 2014, somewhere in there.
Has it been 10 years?
10 years.
Mm-hmm. Has it been 10 years?
At least 10 years.
Shut up.
It's been 10 years since I worked at that place.
Wow. Okay, then yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, it's been 10 years without desserts.
Crazy.
Why am I still fat? IPAs. That's why. IPAs. IPAs.
Your dessert has become beer.
Yeah. Dessert beers.
Good
dessert beers are fantastic. Yeah. Actually, when I found out that the Costco has the 6-pack of Tall Boys, the grapefruit sculpin for $9.
That's
exactly. Thank you. Guess what I'm taking on my trip tomorrow? Yeah. This is a way to go right there. Yes. Okay, guys. A lot to talk about. I'm gonna tee it up. Let's just start with this. What's going on today, which is just absolute madness since Benjamin Netanyahu touched down, and no one from the Biden White House, any cabinet member, like we said, maybe Secretary of Mayor Pete could have shown up because it was an airport. Maybe it's in his lane. Maybe let him show up and greet our biggest ally in the Middle East. But no, they didn't want to because this was going on. Yeah. Bump him. Hit him hard. Get him. Yeah, watch this. Up, down. Nope. Up, down. Nope. Up, down. Got it. Look like the Secret Service out there. Look at the chick holding the camera up to him. Did you see that? Watch this lady holding the camera up to his face. Look at her right there. Then the red shirt or maroon shirt holding the camera up to this person. Like, what are you going to do? You're going to dox him? You're going to out him that he's a cop doing his job? Yeah. And they just, all you bozos. Look at this.
What are you doing?
Man, this is, man, they tore up everything. They tore up everything in the last 2 days. Oh, yeah, there you go. Get him with the spray. Hit him with the spray. Yeah, look, if they come at you with stuff like that, and look at it. Everyone's just filming. This is what protest has become. This is an embarrassment. And absolutely, I think, what did they write on the Liberty Bell, Freedom Bell, or whichever one of the bells they have down there? It said, what, Hamas is coming? Oh, great. Hey, you, by the way, you with the purple hair over there, you're going to be the first one they chuck off a building. But okay, Hamas is coming. Thanks for warning yourself.
Well, and this is, I really do wonder, I hold up this all the time on the show, Mike, because how much of this impacts decision making, particularly for young people, because most of those people going out there writing Hamas on the sign, they're young people, and they're very misguided because of these things. And then when they're out there filming it, they want to be famous for being a part of it. So when you have this big group of people that shows up to DC to burn the American flag at Union Station, which Mike and I, when we were in DC in September 22, was it September 22 we went to DC? Yeah. We stayed right near where Union Station was. It was what, a block and a half away from where we stayed. And to see the burning of the American flag fueled by this, in my opinion, but also fueled by years of public school teaching kids that America sucks, that America's original sin is slavery and it needs to be redone. So much so that people think Hamas is a good option. Do you know anything about Hamas and how they control money? Because, again, I love this Palestinian free stuff. That's great. I wish the Palestinians were free. I want every human being on earth to have the same freedoms that we as Americans have. However, it's not America or Israel that is preventing the Palestinians from having this freedom. It's Hamas. They get all the money and they put it where they want. They control all the flow. They control the recruitment of people to be soldiers and kill themselves. All of this is just completely asinine, but it's completely real in America right now.
Yes, and the complete blind eye that is being turned away from the all of the aid trucks with the Hamas dudes on top of it, armed, shooting people, running over if they try to get their aid, if they get anything. They're completely controlling it and putting it in the schools and the churches and the hospitals where they're launching their bombs from. I mean, their missiles from. So it's just a complete ignoring of fact and what's really going on the ground out there. You just found a cause that you thought was cool, and you heard the word genocide and apartheid. Apartheid's my favorite part of the whole thing because they obviously do not know what apartheid means.
You didn't grow up in the 80s and before that. We know what apartheid
but they don't even know. Well, we've seen apartheid. They should, at least if they're gonna holler it, they should know what apartheid means. They should know the definition of two laws for two different types of people in your nation. That's what that means. Israel is nowhere near an apartheid state. Nowhere near. Everyone can hold office. Everybody. I think it's even 12% Christian. I think that was the last thing I saw. Was Israel is 12% Christian. Hold office. Do whatever they want to do. Vote. Everybody's got the same amount of rights. That's not apartheid. Just because your country neighboring doesn't have the same rights, that doesn't mean you have anything to do with it. But the kids want to get out and get some pepper spray in their face and never get a job. That's cool. I love it. That I actually ventured back onto LinkedIn because I kept getting all these emails of like people congratulating me for something. I'm like, what the hell did I do? I have no idea. Apparently LinkedIn, it's the thing to do. But it was really interesting to me seeing how many people have pro-Palestinian whatever, as I was just kind of browsing through the other day. And I'm like, you understand what you're doing. LinkedIn is supposed to be for, I don't know if it still is, but it used to be for kind of business professionals and this kind of networking kind of thing. You're alienating yourself as much as is putting him, he, his, is, zen, they, them on your profile.
But see, I think this is a big deal because it comes back to this two different Americas that we view and see and we perceive, because there is the one side that you just talked about, Mike, where why don't we just live? We don't need to identify our pronouns unless you want to be identified as something other than what you appear. Fine. But we do it. And for some people, that's legit and that's real. Just like for some people, this protest is real. But here's the funny thing about how news shapes riots and protests. Remember in 2016, I wish I had pulled this video. I didn't think about it till now. 2017, January 20th, 2017, Donald Trump gets inaugurated. I was in D.C. for that. I was there covering it. And I had a choice to make because there was word that there were rioters at, I don't know, some square in D.C. And it was at the same time Donald Trump was going to do that famous presidential walk where you get out of the limo, you wave to the people. And I decided to go cover the protest. And when I got there, you could smell tear gas still in the air. It was still there. They had just broken up a crowd. There were police over here. But meanwhile, there was a group of young men standing around a limousine. So once the cops were far enough away, a lot of those young people got on top of that limousine. They started smashing the windows, climbing on it, saying things, proclaiming things. And eventually they lit it on fire.
Yeah, like
it became, but it became like a defining moment of Trump's inauguration. Like there were riots. But when I look back and I think about how many people were there on the limo, may have been 15, may have been 20, may have been 7. It wasn't a lot of people. In this group too, looks like a lot of people, but it's not a lot of people that are burning the flag, but it makes it seem like there's this massive, huge movement of pro-Hamas people in the United States. When I don't know the answer to that, because pro-Hamas, you're weird. I'm sorry. There's no redeeming qualities about Hamas.
We love terrorism, apparently. Yeah. Yay. We're pro-terrorists.
And I get being critical of Israel. I'm fine with that. It's a free country. It deserves to be criticized. Everything they do is not awesome. The same thing, right? Yeah. But to go to this level, so I wonder how many people are like in that group there. What percentage of America truly feels that way? And it's probably about the same amount that watch cable news, as you were talking about yesterday.
Yeah, like we were talking about yesterday. So, yeah, we got 1 million people in there. Wow, cool. Talk radio, same thing. But I mean, you see these damn influencers and you look at Rob and I are kind of in tune to watching things online and seeing how many people are reacting, how many people are, participating, how many people are watching. And it's just, just millions on top of millions watching these influencers just bash the Democrat Party right now. Okay. So real quick, Greg, just a little pause here. Happy 70th birthday, Sally.
Sally.
Good job, Sally, out there in BC. What's up? Happy birthday to you. Hope you're getting your groove on, having some fun, maybe hitting the club. 70, you're never too old. Make it happen. Yeah. Anyway, it boils back to, you kind of look back to Occupy Wall Street, the kind of Occupy movement back in the day. And this kind of has the same thing with these encampments and all that. And by the way, Gavin Newsom has signed an executive order into just get rid of them all. Get rid of all those homeless encampments. Get them all.
I'm getting slammed for this.
Yeah.
Maybe that means it's going to be the VP nod. Although the 12th Amendment, you can't really have a president and vice president from the same state, apparently.
I live in D.C.
I'm moving.
No, she lives somewhere else.
Living in 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
Oh, I'm sorry. Wait a second, Rob. Did you imply that the Democrats, including Kamala Harris, are going to actually follow the rules? Yeah, they would find a way around that. Yeah,
their own rules. They make up their own rules.
Yeah, well,
play their own game.
We just do it our own way. Holy cow! This is I'm sure she is awesome, Greg. But this is different than the Occupy movement, because you saw those cameras in cops' faces. There's cameras showing them as well. This is all this is all in their digital imprint. This is all their social imprint, their social footprint, whatever you want to call it, digital legacy, however you want to define that, or however you want to phrase that, is these people are screwing themselves. Like, you could have been part of Occupy Wall Street. Rob could have been part of Occupy Wall Street. None of us would have known. None of us had any clue. Because we weren't posting everything. It wasn't a video of everything. There wasn't. Here, y'all, this is now who you are. And you quite literally are. And again, like Rob said, Israel can be criticized, as the United States, as anyone can be, any nation should be scrutinized and held to a high standard. But you are literally siding with a terrorist organization. Damn. Like, it's just not going to bode well for you later. It just isn't. This you are making a life choice at this time.
Well, and I think that I look at this as the way that information influences you. So let's just say you've come across pro-Hamas websites and tweets, and you start liking those tweets, or you start spending time reading those tweets. X's algorithm, Facebook's, Instagram's, whatever platform you're on, WhatsApp, whatever, they will continually give you that. So again, it shapes your vision of reality that isn't real. It's just real in your head. But to establish yourself on the pro-Hamas side, number one, what's America going to do about it? It's as if there's no problems left in America, as if all injustices in America, the same group of people were talking about those racial injustices like 2 years ago, saying those racial injustices are what makes America horrible. But now we're on to the Hamas thing. So forget about the injustices in America, which we're closer to home, which we have more ability to do something about, but we don't, young people take this idea, think that they're going to change the world by burning an American flag in Washington, D.C. and spray painting Hamas on a statue. That's the other part where this isn't really well thought out. It's just, I find that people are just ticked off all the time. And I think that that's part of the problem. And again, going back to this is a device that allows you to be ticked off all the time if you want.
Yeah. And by the way, can I just I digress here, and we'll get back to this this Hamas stuff and the two-state solution and all that fun, good stuff. I want y'all to understand this. When you see somebody just tugging at your heartstrings, somebody is just broken down online. Somebody's just, this video of this woman just crying because she just found out that her husband was cheating on her, whatever it is. And it's meant to look at
that. You can show comments.
What? Sorry, can you really?
Yeah, that's cool. So I just
thought, how do you get them off?
Do that. So there's
no way.
If you hover over the comment, it says show, and then you hover over it again, it says hide.
What kind of wizardry is this?
Look at that. Hello, Rhonda.
Hey, sorry, Mike. What's happening? Yeah. No, that's dope. Okay, let's play that game too. I like this. That way I don't have to. I don't know if that's a new why feature. You don't see. No, that's why you don't see me go like this. You see me go do one of these things. Like, where's your man? Can't read it. Oh, Brendan wrote something big.
This is a good one, and this is good too because Brendan, for example, is watching on YouTube, and he can't see the Facebook comments, and vice versa. So we'll put Brendan's comment up there, Mike, and go back to
I want
Me
to
not
say, when you
interrupting
see
you, and
all
then
this stuff in all of the drama that's on social media and all the dramatic videos and people just losing it and crying like this, do you understand? You got to step back and go like this, because this, before they hit the button that took them live or whatever they were on, they had to set up the tripod. They had to launch all this stuff like this, boom, 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 boom. Get right, get to make sure there's no shadow in it. Everything's good. And then hit record or go live. And so it's all fake. It's just all fake, y'all. I don't care what, it's all fake.
and I think that goes to Brendan's point here, right? It's performative. We live in a performative, attention-seeking society where you constantly have to one-up each other, which, again, is part of our challenge here. When you don't fire the flames and fan the flames, rather, it's harder to gain attention on the algorithm, which is why we always ask you guys to share this out, because we're interested in having these types of conversations where we can break down and diagnose what's actually happening behind this fuel, even though it looks ridiculous and really stupid to be pro-Hamas. Well, people are that. But are they that because they're performing? Because certainly Brendan's comment is right. Anyone who understands anything about Hamas would not think of themselves as a freedom-based organization. They are the exact opposite of that. They will send weak people to go blow themselves up to kill a couple of Jewish people. That's that type of organization. They control all the money so that they get to determine who gets fed and who doesn't. It's the exact opposite of freedom. But I don't know that these kids, as young and dumb as they are, apparently, are interested in freedom.
Because they don't have to. They don't have to study anymore. They don't have to realize. If you ask any of these slappies, any one of them, why is there a battle between Hamas and Israel right now? What's the Palestinian-Israeli beef? I forget Hamas. I mean Palestinian. What's the Palestinian or Israeli beef? They won't know. They'll go back to whatever October 7th or whatever the heck it was, whatever that day was. They live in it, fine. That's it. And they think that's it. You got to drop back a couple thousand years and really find out what that is. Oh, say. But you got to drop back and actually find out what that is. It's biblical. It's literally biblical. So they're not going to go. Both of these groups were that is the promised land. Both of them descendants of what was supposed to be the firstborn son. You're never going to change their mind. Ever are you going to change their mind? So there's that. Then I don't give old Slick Willie. I don't give him any much credit, but then there's Bill Clinton. There's what I did with Israel and Palestine. He offered him basically a two-state solution. Guys, here's all of Gaza is yours. We're going to build you a port, not a Joe Biden kind of port, like one that's actually going to stick and stay. It's going to be stable, and you're going to have commerce, and you're going to be able to do this. We got you hooked up. We're going to give aid. We're going to support you. We're going to be a trading partner with you. Hamas said no. And that was back in the Clinton days. That's back in the 90s, y'all. So these kids have no idea that any of that happened. They just think it's cool to say, yes, Israel, bad. Palestine, good.
And, again, what difference is it actually making? None. You're graffitiing a statue. Good for you. Doesn't change anything. Doesn't change the complexity half a world away. Doesn't change what Mike just said, that this is history that goes back to 600s. That's the reality of all of this. And the reactions showcase this. And like, for me, just to bring this back up, I don't trust experts anymore about anything, because the experts have done a great job of systematizing their expertise so that you look to them and go, wow, that person's really studious and have advanced degrees, and they've been doing this a long time. But that doesn't mean they know the right answers. Yeah, exactly. That doesn't mean they know the right answers. Yeah. Like, what am I an expert at ultimately? Me. That's it. That's what I'm an expert at. I know how to do radio shows. I know how to gather information, take difficult topics, make them simple to understand, because that's what I've done my entire life. But I can't sit here and claim to you that I'm an expert on Israeli-Palestinian relations. I can tell you a little bit about the Palestinian Liberation Organization, even going back to the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and how Hamas and the PLO Don't really like them. And to answer Lynn's question here, what I know about the PLO is no, they're basically inconsequential now because Hamas has gone in and taken control of that. But here's where it gets really stupid. Again, the expertise. Because here's crazy thing. Benjamin Netanyahu, who is the prime minister of Israel, he allowed money to be funneled through Qatar to Hamas because Bibi was thinking, oh, Hamas, they're not going to attack us like the way they did on October 7th. So again, the expertise, the deeper you get into it, the more muddled it gets. Because if you're thinking, oh, Benjamin Netanyahu, he is the guy from Israel that always stands up against terrorism. Yet he let a terrorist organization receive money through Qatar to pay for need in the Palestinian occupied territories or whatever they're called technically.
Yet we give pallets of cash to Iran and free up $6 billion for them for 5 terrorists to be released. Yeah, great job.
And now they almost have nuclear weapons.
Yeah,
like
and
what,
by the
what
way,
did Lincoln say? A week or two away from being able to use fissure.
Not true
whatever.
at all. That's like saying that people that voted for Trump are the biggest national security threat we have. It's just absolutely stupid. Go back to hummus here. You are wrong, Brendan. You are wrong in every single way. Hummus is garbage. Hummus does not taste. Hummus is just, it's got a weird texture to it. It literally, it's like rice cakes. You just chew rice cakes. You don't even swallow rice cakes. You just chew them and it just go away. That's the same thing with hummus. You're eating nothing. You're eating nothing. Yeah, I'm telling you.
Man, Peter Jungle,
hummus
they have
is nasty.
Like a try hummus. You got regular hummus, red pepper hummus, and then you got some jalapeno hummus. Oh,
and all of it tastes like nothing.
No, you put the pita bread on it, you put a little tomato
and then you
on
put
there.
pita bread on it. That and sourdough, the worst of the breads.
No.
Pita tastes like an insole of a shoe. That's what pita tastes like. It tastes like you're eating a gunny sack. That's exactly what it tastes like. Yeah, I know.
Let's answer this question. I don't know the answer, Lynn, but it's a lot. How much money does Israel get from the USA? A lot of money. But
they're not a terrorist organization. They don't fund terror. They don't take our money and support and fund terror. That's kind of the big. And by the way, they're our number one ally in the Middle East. They're the United States of the Middle East. So yes, we give them as much as we can. We give them as many missiles as the Iron Dome could possibly use. And that is one of the coolest pieces of defense ever. The Iron Dome's sick. I'll watch.
America's going to build one now. I think Trump said that. We're going to build our own Iron Dome. It's
Iron Dome.
Star Wars is what what Reagan called it. We're going to actually do it. We're going to do it.
It's going to come out of the eyes of the men of Mount Rushmore. All the missiles.
It's going to be the most beautiful weapon system you've ever seen in your life.
Could you imagine coming in? That's where they launch everything from the eyes of the presidents of Mount Rushmore.
I'll only do it if you put my face up there. You're going to replace Lincoln. Put me. It's fine.
Oh my gosh. All right. Let's
all right. Now we're getting ridiculous, Jose.
Jose, if I could slap you, I would. How dare you even suggest that?
But see, here we go. Boom.
Yeah. Pita Jungle chicken hummus plate. You guys, okay, bye. Okay.
The good stuff right there. See, Brendan knows.
Yeah. Let's get to 1984, one of Rob's latest reads. Here you go. Don't. I knew you were going to pull that damn thing out.
I don't know where it is, though.
Okay. See, okay, good. Well, we're fine.
It's not 1984.
Part of 1984 that we've been exposing here from our friends on the left is the rewriting of history. And I think, Rob, if you remember from 1984, it was the chocolate rations where they said no. You've always gotten this amount when they decided to change the amount. This is what we're seeing right before our eyes with Kamala Harris, and Kamala Harris was never the border czar. Apparently, before Joe Biden stepped down, she was the border czar. But now, all the talking heads, all the media is now saying, no. You guys had that all wrong. Here we go.
Border czar.
That's right.
Vice President Harris was not a border czar.
Meantime, Vice President and border czar Kamala Harris facing some backlash.
What he said about Harris and immigration was not true. She was never appointed border czar.
And this will be her first visit to the U.S.-Mexico border region since she was appointed as the border czar by President Biden.
People gonna have to counter the misinformation. You already hear folks talking about the border czar. She wasn't the border czar.
President Biden tapped Kamala Harris, Vice President Kamala Harris, to be the border czar.
Now, she wasn't the border czar. That's what Republicans Republicans labeled her.
They were very critical of Kamala Harris, especially in her role as border czar.
Now what she's up against is folks lying about her border record, calling her a border czar.
Kamala Harris, who was appointed as the border czar.
The Biden team didn't declare her the border czar. They wanted her to work on kind of the root causes of immigration.
There has been so much criticism against Kamala Harris. You know, she was the border czar.
Calling her sort of the border czar, which wasn't necessarily the case.
So the border, if they weren't planning to address it in a major way.
Okay, it just goes on and on. Obviously, you see it before and after. So this is just like 1984. No. She was never the border czar. We all called her the border czar, but she was never the border czar. So this is a basically a weakness in the defense of Kamala Harris is being exposed here as she tethers her record. As she said, she'll put her record up against Donald Trump's any day of the week. That was part of her little speech. Come on. Okay. If she's hitching her wagon to the Biden record like this, she's in trouble. And so the media steps up and said, okay, her biggest weakness is going to be she was the border czar. We have to tell the people, we have to tell the public that she was never a border czar. So she can't have that failed border policy put on her.
Well, think about where the media is coming from. The media is coming from a position. They love Kamala's story. They love her background. And they really don't like Donald Trump. So is this surprise anybody? My favorite one was Axios. I actually like the website Axios because I like the way they write news. It's quick. It's bullet point. Gets you right into it. Mm-hmm. They wrote, Kamala Harris was never the border czar. And then from an article in 2021, Biden appoints Kamala Harris border czar on Axios' website.
Love it.
All it does is just add to that idea that the media is worthless. It just is. It's rather a shame. I love the media. I love our job as the fourth estate. I take that seriously. We are supposed to be watchdogs on either party to call out their BS, but we don't, right? And that's really part of this problem is there really are two Americas, one that you believe in and one that the media believes in, where they don't think people can just go back in the internet. I think, Rhonda, you said it earlier. The internet is forever. All you have to do is a quick Google search, a quick search on X, and you will find border czar clips. And the media is they have their heads so far up their butt, they can't come out and just acknowledge, yeah, you know what? Yeah, that sucks. Well, now we look like idiots. So we're not going to do that anymore. That's my real problem, Mike, because they look like idiots.
Yeah,
all the time.
The funny thing is, going back to the internet is forever. Forget that. C-SPAN. C-SPAN goes way back before the internet. C-SPAN has everybody saying everything. You cannot walk away from the data lake that is C-SPAN and every word that any of these bozo slappies have ever said. And it's always going to come back and bite you. So what I wanted to point out and just that was interesting to me is that we the people do see that. Even we the people that vote left. Even we, the people that are vote Democrats, even we, the people that would sit down with MSNBC, see that Kamala Harris is in on this, basically ousting of Biden or hiding his decline in mental faculties.
Blame for President Biden being in office in this condition. Who deserves the blame?
His close staff. They work with him every day.
So I think that's what.
Okay, Rob, point it out real quick. Go ahead, bud.
Why is he still sitting with COVID protocols? They're like 15 feet apart. What are you doing?
It's the dumbest thing ever.
So stupid. It looks stupid. You're in folding chairs. It looks amateur. What is that train behind you? That's cool, but seriously.
Yeah,
come on, MSNBC. Get it together.
Train is pretty rad. Yeah.
Also makes me nervous about the Vice President Harris. Yeah.
Talk about that a bit.
So, yes, she's going to be in it, but she also helped keep him in where he's at right now. And if he really is as bad as what they've been saying, I think if he steps down as president and she steps into the presidency before the end of his term, it almost makes me question a little bit more why it didn't happen sooner. She's worked with him. She's been, to my understanding, with him daily, or at least a couple of days a week. Why hasn't this been brought to attention if she's willing to hide that type of information once she's in office? Now what she's willing to hide for herself.
Her entire career and how she ascended to power. That's exactly what she's willing to hide, and she's trying her very, very, very best to hide. But the thing I wanted to illustrate there is that this is not being. We played David Portnoy yesterday. it's not being hidden anymore. It's plain sight. This was a complete. They knew they could not get Kamala to get one delegate or one vote, so they had to get Joe all the way through, knowing that he could not do it on his own. Propped him up, let him only work 3-4 hours a day to get to this point when the primary's over, and then just pop their person in there. This is the third time they've done it. Why would we be surprised?
Okay, so I'm going to talk strategy here because this election is going to be determined by strategy and tactics. I believe it's going to be close. I believe it is going to be the equivalent of a political street fight. So those voters there that you just saw on MSNBC are swing voters. Those are ultimately the voters that matter. There are a very small percentage of people who still haven't made up their mind on who they're going to vote for. Those voters in Wisconsin, in Michigan, Pennsylvania, Arizona, Georgia, maybe North Carolina, maybe Virginia, maybe Nevada are what's going to matter. So with those concerns, if I'm the Trump campaign, that's what I'm talking about. I am off of this DEI nonsense because that's going to get you nowhere. But what's going to get you somewhere is a lack of trust that the Biden administration has created because they hit a president, and that includes the vice president of the United States. That the vice president of the United States for 3.5 years, almost 4, has not been honest with you. I attacked him on the economy, even though the numbers came out yesterday, some type of GDP growth of 2.8% and jobs and whatever. I'm like, great, those numbers are fantastic. But let's look at the real numbers. In Phoenix, Arizona, it takes you 26% more money to buy the same amount of stuff it did 4 years ago. 26%, that's a quarter. So if you finally made $100,000 a year in 2023, as opposed to 2019, it's basically the equivalent of being worth $74,000.
I did the same thing. Have you seen this? This going around, the guy that hit from 2 years ago hits his buy again on his cart, whatever. That I did that. I did on my fries account. Wasn't as dramatic, but it was still shocking at the same time. I'm like, oh my good Lord.
Well, I've changed buying decisions because of prices.
Yeah,
I probably have to get a new AC unit in my house because we have one of those outside inside units. The furnace part is inside. That's leaking. It's 11 years old. So now I got to replace the whole thing. I can't even imagine. The guy's coming over today. Tell us what the damage is going to be. But to go back to the Trump thing, I stick to these 3 issues: the trust, the real economy, and then the border. And I just highlight the media. I just highlight it and say, look, Kamala was no doubt. Even take Biden's announcement. Play it. Biden appoints Kamala to oversee the border. Here's what she oversaw. Mm-hmm. There are 12 million people that have come into this country. They did it in a tricky legal way to fool you through the asylum system to try to hide the problem. That goes back to a lack of trust, because what those voters tell me and what you're saying about Dave Portnoy, the guy from Barstool Sports, about Jake Paul, the boxer. I saw you playing that yesterday, Mike, his endorsement of Trump. There is a massive lack of trust in the Democrats right now, unless you're a Democrat, because of the way that they've orchestrated Kamala being it without getting one vote. I think
say that last part again. Say that last part. I didn't hear it. What do you mean, unless you're a Democrat?
Democrats don't care. They don't care that their party has abandoned the primary system.
I think they care. I think these people. Okay, well, obviously not all of them will agree that the sun's coming up tomorrow. I understand that, but you look at the people that we're just talking about. Those are they're MSNBC people, for the love of grief.
But they
are understanding that. But they are understanding that they've been hosed again.
Well,
nobody wants Kamala as a leader. No,
but that's exactly my point. You lean on the actual facts, the lack of trust, hiding Biden, the real economy with inflation, the border. Those are your issues. Stay away from DEI. Stay away from calling her names like Laughing Kamala, Cackling Kamala, whatever. The way you beat her is you convince those swing voters you can't trust them. Because if they did this to you for 4 years, what are they going to do over the next 4? What are they going to hide from you? What are they not going to tell you? That, I think, is a winning argument for voters in Wisconsin. Whereas if Trump wins Wisconsin and Pennsylvania, Democrats can't win. Kamala cannot win without those 2 states.
But Kamala, I'm okay. We had a lot of real estate, a lot of time real estate between now and in November. So I don't think it's going to be as close as one might think it'll be, but I think it's still I think it's still going to be Trump. But I mean, we'll see what happens with this whole convention and what a S show that's going to be. People are going to be protesting out there. Do you think these Palestinian these pro-Palestinian folks aren't going to be out in front of the DNC? It's going to be absolute chaos. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be
and that'll be a part of it too. But Kamala gave that speech the other day. Whole different Kamala.
No, sure.
Kamala came with the energy. She didn't stumble. She followed the teleprompter. She followed the arguments. She actually, I think, again, looking strategy-wise, is a good case because the one thing Trump is not doing anything about is his likability. And all he has to do, in my opinion, is shift over. Are you going to talk about the golf stuff now?
Hell yeah. I
think that stuff's boring.
I don't care. I don't care. I would say, hey, look at the views, look at the engagement, look how far and wide that spread. That was probably one of the best campaign moves of his team. This entire thing. You got the number 9 golfer in the world that comes up in one of the most relatable, fun golfers you're gonna know. This guy's got personality. He's got pull. He's got following. He's got everything going for him. Again, influencing in his sport. And who is he influencing, by the way? Those that watch golf. Those are the voters we need back in the Republican Party, and that we lost, especially the female vote in that demo. So that and how far each of those clips, I mean, there's 18 holes of it. They're just going everywhere in a bazillion different directions. I think, boring or not, it showed Trump as a real human being that everybody that they're trying to reach, the people that vote, sure as hell like a dude that golfs and is humble and cool and pretty damn good at it. Did you see the swing? This is one of the ugliest damn swings I've ever seen. His putt.
This putt is
I don't know how he can putt like
stance.
that. It's like almost but he smacks the ball.
Exactly.
He like spanks it.
Yeah, he doesn't. It's not smooth.
Who's a good boss smack? Who's your daddy ball? And he said, so he hits the thing, and it almost has backspin. I'm like, how did that thing not go into the sand trap on the side of the green? That's amazing. But I just think it reached who it needed to reach, and it reached in a big way.
Well, and maybe that's true. Because again, that's part of it, right? Part of it is to say, man, only 41% of America likes me or approves of me in some way. Probably 30-something really likes Trump.
I don't believe those polls. Somewhere in the 90s. Somewhere in the 90s.
That shift has to be, because again, he had a real big opportunity at the RNC speech, and I think he missed an opportunity there to do that. I think the rest of the clan that was there built him up to be that, because the challenge is when you get in front of a microphone and you're not being yourself and you're being this, Trump that we see all the time. There is another Trump that everyone who knows Trump talks about all the time, that he's engaging, he listens, he asks questions, he cares. Yeah, there is that part of Trump that for him to win needs to come out, but it needs to come out fully, which is again why if I am Donald Trump's campaign team, I am advising him to just smash Kamala on her record, on putting black people in jail for marijuana possession, on highlighting the Minnesota Freedom Fund, which let out a murderer, on her border czarness, on her economy, on her performance as vice president. I stay away from all the personality, and I just say, look, Kamala's got a great story, no doubt, but let's look at her record. Let's look at how she'll lead America.
Look at that, more than that. That's just a national security risk. You imagine our enemies looking at that going, oh my good Lord, they had Biden, now they're going to put her up there. That'd be fantastic if you're a leader of our enemies. But going back to Rob's point, though, Rob's point about the genuine aspect of giving any kind of speech or being in front of any camera. We learned that back in the McCain debacle. Him and Hillary, the two worst presidential campaigns ever run in the history of ever. Dukakis ran a better campaign. When John McCain was told to be whoever he was on a teleprompter and on the campaign trail, no one liked him. No one liked the dude. And then there was some, I think it was the White House Correspondents' Dinner or something like that, when he just got up there and cut loose, and everybody's like, oh, this is about 6 months late. Where the hell has this guy been? This is the guy everybody knows. This is the guy everybody would vote for had this been his entire campaign. So I do agree with Rob on that point that Trump, at the same time, though, it's hard, though, especially when we deal with Trump. Trump is unique. He's an anomaly. So, but Donald Trump has not changed. You look back at interviews of him back in when Oprah was interviewing him, or whenever it was. He's same dude. Dude didn't change. Same guy.
Yeah, well, and that's part of the challenge. It's because it's so much of him, right? It's not as much now, but you have to think of there's another challenge here. If you think about Obama, nobody who knew who Barack Obama was until 2004, John Kerry's convention, he came out and nailed a speech. There's not a red state America, not a blue state America. There's the United States of America. So he came across like he was going to appeal to the entire country.
A man of the people. It's me.
But it was all by design, right? But get this, 4 years later, he's the president. So America doesn't have American voters don't have a great understanding of the depths of politics. Many people, millions of people vote based on that. I literally, like 2 weeks after Obama gave that speech, I was at a buddy's house. I was living in New Orleans at the time. Guy was my news director at the station I worked at. And I'm hanging out with him and his roommate, and his roommate's girlfriend was there. 2 weeks after Obama's speech, he goes, I can't wait for Barack Obama to be president. And I was like, wow, that's the impression, and now sped up by technology. So my point in bringing that up is if Kamala stays on message and on track, and again, this is the perfect scenario for Kamala. She didn't have to get any votes, and it's a short window where if she cannot mess up for 3 months, there are going to be people in America who go, wow, that's amazing. So for Trump, it's dismantling that systematically while presenting himself as a normal guy who likes the trees, most beautiful trees in the country on my golf course. My favorite place is my golf course in Ireland, next to my favorite place in Scotland, which is also my course.
I just got ticked off when on the par 4 when Trump, like every one of us at 225-yard par 4, we'd bust out like 3-wood probably at the lowest, and DeChambeau gets up there with a freaking 7-iron.
Yeah,
so, shut up, ass. Just go away. Go ahead. Now you're not relatable.
Wedge.
Yeah, exactly. Here's a lob wedge for 200. Just gonna
but
drop
I think
it like
I love strategy of political contests. I love presidential strategy because as you guys know that have watched, it's Greg and Rhonda and Brendan, Jose. I probably am not voting for either one. I'm probably going to vote for maybe RFK, maybe not, maybe somebody else. I don't know. Maybe I'll write Mike Russell in. So I don't have a dog in the fight. So I look at it just from a simple strategy standpoint. And I could show you other books that I've read about presidential campaigns and strategies and all these things. It fascinates me for some reason. And I don't want to get overconfident either side because I do think the country is very close. And I think it's going to matter, right? But your Mike is right. Those little things. Yeah, the golf. Those little things that they're going to put out will matter. And how he attacks Kamala will also matter to those swing voters who already show on MSNBC of all places, I don't really trust what the Democrats are doing here.
Yeah.
Expose that and highlight that. Don't call it a coup, though. Don't call it a coup. Just say you took the voters out. I would even just appeal directly to Democrat voters. 14 million you guys voted for Joe Biden, not Kamala Harris. Not one.
I call it a coup d'etat. Mm-hmm. Yep, I'm gonna go with the coup.
What a wonderful day.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hey, let's have a laugh. What do you think? This will help us out. This was kind of hit the little reset button here and see if we can get this going here. What's happening?
I used to believe everything I'd see on the news, but that's before I discovered a brain.
A brain is meant for everyday use. Those living with moderate to severe stupidity have seen immediate improvement in common sense with a brain.
I thought the government had my best interests at heart, and then a friend told me about a brain.
Talk to your doctor about what news sources you obey. A brain may also lower your desire to take life-altering
news sources you obey.
Advice from celebrities.
Getting lectured about my carbon footprint from people with 3 private jets used to make sense. But thanks to a brain, now I can think for myself every day. When my disregard for 3rd grade biology began to flare up, I knew it was time for a brain.
Do not try a brain if you're allergic to a brain. Common side effects may include accountability, discernment, homeschooling your kids, a better understanding of economics, awareness of the stupidity of socialism, and diarrhea.
For tethering yourself to reality, the only no-brainer is choosing a brain. Ask your doctor if a brain is right for you.
For more information, visit tryabrain.com.
Beautiful. There you go. And how many times? I mean, seriously, I don't know whether it's MAGA or it's Bernie or whatever it was. You follow any of these people, you talk to these people, and you're like, "Is what's on in there?" Like, you're looking at me, you're talking, and it really seems like you've. I mean, I know you're passionate about it. Well, what's coming out of your mouth just doesn't make any sense. Like, there's no brain that's focusing those sounds into words.
No, and I think that was a huge realization for me. I've had several of them in my life. I've talked about Hurricane Katrina before. I was there. I was broadcasting live. And then the levees broke. There was water everywhere. Like, my radio station was like right outside the city of New Orleans, a couple miles outside. But we went up on our roof and all you could see was water. And we're like, wow, how are we going to get out of here? National Guard ain't going to come get us. The federal government ain't going to come get us. The state of Louisiana is not going to come get us. The city of New Orleans isn't going to come get us. So we had to get out ourselves. And there were thousands of people stranded. So what the city did in Katrina, the people that couldn't get out because several people don't have cars, they don't have places to go, they don't have money for hotels, they put them in the Superdome in the convention center and said, good luck. They left them there. Again, nobody was thinking the worst case scenario, but the worst case scenario happened. So you had thousands of people stranded that the government couldn't get to for a couple of days. That at 25 or 27 years old was a huge slap in the face for me that when it hits the fan, guess what? You're on your own. You have to problem solve. You have to figure it out. And even like moving out of New Orleans, I couldn't just call up my congressman and be like, hey, can you move all my stuff for me? No, I had to find a rental car somewhere in middle of nowhere, Alabama.
They had a bunch of school buses that were doing nothing with. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, and they had all these grandiose plans and every level of government failed. So to go to that point, a brain, which is what Mike and I brought you during the pandemic when not many other media organizations did. We said, you have a brain. Here are the risk categories. Take this pill and actually use your brain because nobody's coming to save you.
I forgot about when we were told, and Robbie, I don't know if you remember this. We were told the Chocolate City. Yeah, that's right. It is.
New Orleans will be chocolate once again. See Ray Nagin now in jail. He might be out by now.
School bus Nagin. Come on, man. You got to give him
school bus Nagin. By the way, I was sniffing around Ray Nagin when I was a young talk show host. There was a parking meter arrangement that they had, which one of Nagin's buddies got. So I call up his office. I didn't really harass them, but I got his chief of staff on, who was very smooth, by the way. One of my favorite interviews I ever did. Charles Rice is the guy's name. And then a couple weeks later, I went to an event. And Nagin was there. And I went to shake his hand, and he looked at me, shook my hand, and looked immediately away and started talking to somebody else. I'm like, whoa, I'm sniffing on to you, boy.
Yeah.
So good. So good.
Oh, and going back to the 1984 thing, we're just erasing everything. Did you see not only Axios, did you see that, what is it? Was it Politicheck? What was it? Track. Hold on. I have it right here. GovTrack that rated Kamala Harris as the most progressive senator, as the most progressive senator out of 100. They've deleted that yesterday.
Oops.
Gone.
Let's see.
Didn't happen. Never said that. Nope.
What they do? Vaccine changed twice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
the definition of it. They just erased it and changed it before you knew it. There was no panels. There was no public notification. Just like you looked up vaccine. All of a sudden, no, it doesn't. Vaccines don't prevent anything. What are you talking about? Huh?
What were those? Oh, the FEMA trailers. You want to know where those FEMA trailers went for after all the relief was done and people stopped caring about it anymore, because that's what we do. We gave our $100 and it went away. They were selling those things for like $8,000 to $9,000. Those FEMA trailers. There are more FEMA trailers as ground blinds in the Midwest for hunting than you could ever imagine. Like, everybody decided they're going to go get one and put it right by a food plot, and that's their like kind of hangout hunting blind. It's fantastic.
Yeah,
Beautiful idea. Beautiful idea.
Absolutely is. So, that's people being innovative and creative, not the government. So,
no.
Who has your better answers? Your neighbors and your friends, as opposed to your politician.
And Rhonda, they didn't change the definition of woman. They still can't define it. They didn't change. They erased it. It was gone. There was no change there. It was that's my favorite question. What is a woman? Yeah.
Yeah, and if you believe it, just say anyone who defines themselves as a woman. If
No,
that's what you believe, just say it.
Well, that's their definition, but that doesn't define woman.
No, but I mean,
because you're using the definition. You're using the word. Using the word when you're trying to define the word. That's against the rules.
Yeah, but I mean, at least say something rather than go.
Okay, here's the deal. Let's get done before I take off on vacation here. So the Olympics are going to happen. The Olympics. After all of this, through this, remember, give them sport and they will not revolt, right? This is just the right time for the unity to come. We love America. Woo, America, cheer on America. Okay. Is anyone excited about the Olympics? Rob, are you excited? Is there anything about the Summer Olympics that fires you up?
I'm excited.
Cross country runner. I'm gonna mute.
I do like track. I do like sprints and track and all that, but I probably won't watch because whatever.
Yeah, you will.
I do love the fact that Paris, France. Paris is a great city, by the way. Just went for the first time in November, whatever. They spent €1.5 billion to clean up the Seine River, whatever.
Oh,
it is.
yeah. This is my
People
favorite.
could swim in it, and it's not clean.
Nope. No, you know why? Do you know why?
No.
Because they set up a schedule for everybody to defecate and pee in it along the river route. I'm not lying. That really happened. Yeah.
Ew.
Yeah. That's why.
Lynn, you're a gold medalist in our book. You're a gold medalist, baby.
Who's a gold medalist?
Lynn, our buddy.
Oh,
Lynn.
yeah. Go for it. Yeah. All about that. Straight gold medal for you. Yeah, but let me actually, I'll actually show you guys real quickly here. Something that was in the how the flame goes, that people run the flame, and it's a big honor to take the Olympic flame from one spot to the next. This is kind of cool. The guy walking with the flame at this point is a quadriplegic. Look at this. That might be one of the coolest damn things I've ever seen in my life. I mean, I think Rob said in show prep, he says, look at RoboCop, but yeah, the guy's controlling it with his right hand. He's got a little remote there. He's just like, look at me, man. I can walk. Y'all, we're going to be just fine if we figure this out and we don't freaking kill each other first. I mean, we're figuring some things out. That's pretty rad. I mean, I would, could you imagine, dude, they're pushing his wheelchair along the side there.
Oh, cool.
And then he's just walking. He's out,
look at his face, though. Look at the big smile, the joy on his face.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, it's just good. Rob, I think you are going to, I think you're going to watch some of the Olympics. Now I'm excited about the archery.
I don't even know how to watch it. Like, what do I? And then
is
it on the Peacock app? Is it on? I don't have cable. I don't know what to do.
Yeah, and unfortunately, the minute I hear Bob Costas, I turn it off. So this is a problem with the things. They throw him all over this place.
Good job, Chris.
Yes, he will. He definitely will. Rob, have you heard of this person? This I'm going to try to say this. It's Sha'Carri Richardson.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Does it remind you of anyone? Does she remind you of anyone?
Great runners from the 90s.
FloJo.
Yeah.
Dude, she's FloJo reborn. Like, this is something that's going to be, for me, it's going to be destination TV. She's 1 second, I think, in the 100. She's 1 second under Usain Bolt's time. She's the fastest human in the world. Like, she is just, and she does it in fishnets and giant nails and in piercings in places that only show in the tight suits. And I'm telling you, wow, I'm all about that. That's cool. It just takes that kind of stuff to a person, something like that. Like back in the old NBA days, it took the Magic and Bird rivalry to take this, and this is what they're trying to do with the NBA. But the other chick is just not. It's just insufferable. But it takes this time to revitalize watching the Olympics, for the love of God. I'll watch that, because that'll be the first time I watch track in a hot minute. Because I watch archery and then and table tennis and skateboarding. Ping pong's the way to go, man. You watch those dudes are taking full haymaker swings. This is stupid.
I went when I was in New York in March. I'm just walking down the street, and there is a competitive ping pong place. And those dudes in there looked like they were training for the Olympics, because they're back off the table far enough to be able to hit their
swings.
The ball. The hand-eye coordination is insane.
Full swings. There's no, I know he's going to look for it.
Oh,
That's
not
why I
that one,
said
this one here.
no.
That's-
Got to look for the piercings now. You're darn right. Mhm.
But yes, Brendan is absolutely right with this one. Comeback story. America loves a comeback story.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. We love it. And I think that, to go to your point, Mike, that's what I think about. I think about the progress of humanity. For example, this is going to sound silly. I was making some tacos last night with some bison meat, Michael.
My man.
Yummy. And I was putting some spices on it, some cumin, some, I don't know, some other things, garlic, salt. And I was thinking about the fact that I didn't have to go gather my own cumin. Someone somewhere else in the world took the cumin, processed it, put it in the cart, shipped it over to America. I went to the grocery store, picked it up. And I found myself incredibly grateful that I didn't have to go find my own cumin. Because if you imagine, in 1200, you ate what was in front of you.
Yeah.
You didn't have cumin. You didn't have access to the spice trade. And the fact that we
Tuesday.
do now is absolutely amazing. And then I thought about how much the spice trade changed the world. So I see this guy, walking, paraplegic, but he's got this cool RoboCop suit on. And I think about the progress of humanity, that sometimes if we get outside of our politics, we can take a look at how amazing life truly is. Like, for example, I had coffee in this cup. I didn't take the beans and grind them. It got shipped to me and boom, picked it up and off and running we are. There's a connectivity that we can all appreciate that can help us all get to a better place, either individually, in groups, as a country, but it ain't going to happen because of politics. I mean, there's certain things in America that politics was necessary for. World War II, for example. FDR, as much as I don't like his presidency, masterful at making decisions when it came to World War II. But other than that, you think about the innovation that has brought America forward, mostly businesses, individuals, people like Thomas Edison and, Tesla, guys that changed the way we thought about electricity to get it into our homes, that allow us to turn the lights on and the air conditioning and all these things. That's really, Mike, to me, where it all hits the road. Where if we take the politics out and the fights out of it and we focus on, wow, that guy's walking. He couldn't walk for the last 15 years of his life, or maybe he's never been able to walk. And there he is with a big old smile on his face, carrying the Olympic torch. That's what it means to be a human.
Well, I don't know about. Hold on, because what is a human? He's basically a robot. It's half robot. It's a Darth Vader vibe. So let me go back to this. The reason why I said this. This is this thing right here. This phone that Rob was talking about. So this is what happened. I want you to, if you feel me on this, I think you will. So I roll out. You guys all understand. I'm addicted to Starbucks cold brew. Rob can attest to that. Always have it. Just I am. I spend too much money on Starbucks cold brew. So the drive-through a few weeks ago, and I have it on the app, right? So I just kind of hold the phone up and be like, here you go, go do your beep beep, kind of do the beep beep. She takes it from my hand, and she said, I got to go run it on another register, and she left with my phone. I was frozen. Nothing on here would be. I mean, there's nothing that she could get on here or anything like that. I mean, I don't think she's doing anything nefarious, but literally took my phone. I don't know where in polite society and where we become in society where that's now acceptable. That is not acceptable. Grabbing someone else's phone ever. Like, I was married for 20 years, and I'm divorced and dating. I have never gone into a woman's purse because I was told by my mom. You never go into a woman's purse. So if I've been asked in my dating or married life, can you get something out of my purse? I bring them the purse. I hand them. This is that was taken from my hand, and I didn't even know that. Like, why are you doing that? That's almost violating. And then so a couple weeks later, I go back to the same one, and I knew this might be a thing, right? I was like, okay, I kind of prepared myself for it. She did the same thing. And I still froze, even expecting it. I was like, whoa, just someone way over there that I don't even know with my phone. It's weird. I don't know why I shared that story. Just absolutely freaky how attached we are to these things.
No doubt. I remember Mike and I went on a trip to San Diego a while back, and I didn't close the dry bag properly while we're out doing some kayak fishing. And water get in the bag, and Rob didn't have a phone. And I remember the first 24 hours, I felt like I lost an arm.
Yeah.
And then after that, I was kind of cool, but I was like freaking out. I was stressed out. Mike and I had filmed some content at Ballast Point Brewing that was now gone, and photos on that phone now gone. And I'm like, dang. But it did get me to get an iCloud account with the quickness.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm not paying $1 a month. Yeah.
Yep. Well, and it's so much. It's funny not doing the talk show. I mean, we do this every day, but not going into work every day. I use my phone way less, and that's weird too, because that in and of a sense is freeing. I'm like, oh, I feel so much freer not being as attached to this as I have been.
Yeah, the most freeing moment I've had is when I stopped alerts on my phone.
That's a big
I have
moment.
no alerts on my
That's
phone.
a big win right there.
I go, if I want information, I go look for information. I don't need somebody to feed me all day what they want me to know.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, that's it. Hey, guys, it's been a good time. Y'all, thank you so much again. Again, every single day, I want to thank you because we truly are thankful. Thankful that you're here.
Yeah.
We're thankful that you're commenting. We're thankful that you're playing around with us. And Rob found a new fun toy for us to play with. It's absolutely fantastic. So we get to throw some of these comments up on the screen. What you got here? Yeah, seriously. Yes, these damn alerts.
Some alerts are good. Some alerts you want. You got to customize, right?
Well, go into that, Chris. That's why I canceled them. I was like, I don't want an alert from me. Oh my
Thank you,
gosh,
Greg.
Greg. Thank you all. Share it out, like it, guys. Do your thing. And Robbie's got you tomorrow. I'm heading out to the Grand Canyon. Gonna do some river rafting down there. So we'll see you guys. I'll see you on Monday. Rob will be back here at noon right here on Russell and Hunter. Have a great afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for playing.